Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap." I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome, ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white Vigors. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah. I don't like niggas, what's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog. The app is an easy way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and New York, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog app. Use code MACECAM or STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash with your first deposit and a free pick. I'm Treasure Wilson, a.k.a. Stat Baby, along with your hosts, Mace and Cam.
Murder, what up?
Killa, what's up? I thought y'all was going to start without the Chiefs, man.
Okay.
The refs. The refs. The refs. They helped you. They helped y'all out. But today we are joined with our analyst, Michael Irvin. Mike, how you feeling?
Hey, I'm feeling great. How are you guys doing? Let me just say this about the playoff guys.
Mike, where you at, Mike?
I'm in my hotel room. What do you mean? I'm in my room.
Yo, don't act like that's an unreasonable question because we don't know where you at. We could be airport bathroom.
I'm always everywhere. But I'm in LA now. I just got to LA. You're right. Listen, I was in Jamaica a couple of days ago. Dude, went over to Jamaica. A friend of mine had a birthday party. Went through Jamaica, right? And dude, for the first time, I rode these horses. Got on a horse. Rode around. And then got in the water on the horse. It was a bunch of horses. And I was like, man, this is cool. Check this out. The horse was called Smoking. He was the legend of the whole group of horses. So when they seen me coming, they picked a legend for me to ride. They said they wanted a legend to ride a legend. But then they told me all about Smoking. Smoking been in that camp. Smoking done made the owner a lot of money because he's been touching everything in the camp for a long time. That's why he called legend, So dude, it was incredible. But when you riding in the water on the horse and the horse in front of you, some of them horses took a moment to go to the bathroom, and they had some big old things floating in that mud. So now I'm riding on Smoking with my legs up like this. Because they got big old shit bombs floating in the water. Outside of that, it was a great time. Pause.
That whole shit was a pause, Mike. I was just like, Legends riding Legends. You was on a big horse with his legs up. Yo, it was kind of crazy just now.
Riding in the water, it was crazy.
I was just letting you go.
Before we start, Kim, I hope you ain't still salty about last time. Don't try to carry that over here this time.
Let me tell you something. You know what I want to do? And I might have to pay somebody to do this from the time this show started to last episode.
Yeah.
A single on Stat when niggas be saying poor shit, because she always looking at somebody like, it did I have time? If I peep it, but she'll look at me like, oh, Cam, so you're not gonna say nothing? You can't see it because you on Zoom. Stat instigates a lot of this shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. She caught on and she'll be like, she just was saying it now, like, whoa.
And the camera doesn't catch me, I'm not going to lie. Like, when it's not on me, y'all don't even know. But yeah, Mike, since you joined.
Yeah, so don't get mad at me. Stop putting the battery in my back. Pause.
Yeah, y'all schooling me, man. I appreciate that, man. But let me ask, God, today, watching the games, I enjoyed the games, but my first thoughts, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Come on, man. Why can't we, when we get to playoff football, at least have every stadium, we got enough money, have a dome on top of it. Playoff football has to be played in good weather. I thought that was, I would have loved to see all of those teams play in some pretty good weather without the weather affecting it that much. Those are just my thoughts. So I didn't want to hear anybody say, well, that was good old football weather. I kick you in your damn head. You say something like that. That's not football weather. I'm just, my bit. Outside of that, it was a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a very good point because it does change a lot of things. But hey, we see you got to be able to perform anyway. So things happen. So we're actually going to start with the Rams versus the Eagles game. So the Rams lost to the Eagles 28-22. The Eagles are in the NFC Championship game for the second time in 3 years. Mike, what do you think of the Eagles advancing and then the weather that they had to play?
Well, I think they're very lucky to be going to an NFC Championship game. And there's a whole lot we can talk about that as we get ready to talk about that game between the two NFC East opponents, you know. So that'll be something. But, man, the Eagles should be – I don't – listen, great job by Saquon Barkley winning the football game. Great job by them winning the football game. But there were some questionable moments in that game that almost cost them that game. And that's one of the games. Say those conditions would be they were better making a decision to run a bootleg play when Saquon Barkley is getting 6 or 7 yards a clip and you lose 10, 12 yards. It was that would have cost you the game. Those kinds of decisions in those moments will cost you the game, and that's what we'll see a lot of, and that'll be the theme as we go through all of these playoffs. But a good job for their defense and fighting together and making sure that they didn't get in the end zone and stopping them that last drive. But yeah, that was a scary moment. But I was happy for Saquon Barkley, to get that kind of a day, to have that kind of a moment on that stage, and they win that game. But I did see the creepings of that issue, like that bootleg play late in the game. You got to play to win in the playoffs. You can't play to satisfy. They were trying to run a bootleg and try to get the ball out to A.J. Brown, make a catch, or a best guess if the defensive end wouldn't have read it, they would have told him to keep it and run it if it's not clearly there. But just hand the ball off. Don't outsmart yourself and miss out on an opportunity. But the Eagles, they shored it up and won it.
Yeah, when I was looking at this game, I thought that the first thing that came up to me was that.
Hold on, you guys come in. I'm sorry. That's my room service, I guess. You guys, they got
Food.
They don't know. Yeah, you got to come in and put it over. But that's okay. Okay, good. They would have kept ringing the bell, and I didn't want to miss this wisdom that Mase is about to drop. So I just decided out the way. Go ahead on, buddy.
Yeah, when I was looking at this game, I thought one thing that really stood out to me, Matthew Stafford put up a lot of yards, and I remember after the game when the lady was asking him, do you think you could continue playing the football game? He looked like he really got a lot of more years of football to play. But what I would say about this game, it was just Saquon. It had Saquon pause written all over it. I mean, the type of way he was playing, the last person that played like that was a guy that helped them win the championship. So if this turns into the type of season that they had when the guy rushed for, who was that? Van Buren. I had it written down. He had 196 yards, broke this same record against the Rams. And then Philly went on to win a championship. So if this is evidence for what Philly should look forward to, it ends up being a great time to get their heart broken because, it's a Chiefs season. And I must say, like, Barkley did his thing, even the rush from Hurts was really, really cool. But, enjoy it while you can, We get into that time of the season where all roads leads to the Chiefs, and I look forward to it. I think it would be crazy for us to beat either the Philadelphia or the Washington team.
Okay.
Yo, Mike, you know what you said last week that I noted that, I mean, of course, it wasn't hard to tell. But when you said last week that we really got to enjoy all the games, because when you're sitting here, a person like myself that know I have to come debate with you on a Monday morning, for the entire football season. I'm doing as much homework as I can. I'm watching the most important games. I'm watching NFL Red Zone, and I'm getting bits and pieces because we're watching 7-8 games a day on Sunday, you know, of course, Monday and Thursday as well. But just the last 2 weeks to be able to watch every game that came on was really, really dope. And I was like, I have better arguments. That's why I got in your ass, pause, last time about Sam Darnold when you was talking all that shit, and he stunk it up. And I told you, was like, it wasn't a playoff, and you told me it cost yourself $30 million because I was prepared for your ass. Pause. I was on point because I was able to see everything I needed to see. Do I have as much knowledge as you?
Right.
Yeah. Do I have as much knowledge as you? Hell no. I was actually watching something, and I'm so mad. I was going to remember. I was too many things to remember. You popped up. It was a record somebody broke this weekend, and you was number 4 on the list, 6 consecutive something. And I was like, look at my nigga Mike. Somebody had the 8. It was Joe Montana. I don't know if it was 6 consecutive conference, whatever it was. I was like, man, Mike is up there. I said, I love having niggas like Mike up here. This is why you talk that shit you talk. And you real slick about it. The other day when you was talking about what y'all know about trying to do a 3-peat, nothing, because you was on the way to try to do a 3. I like that shit. I like that. I like that, man. But look, this was a really good game. I want to give it up for the Rams, man, because what's been going on in LA the last couple weeks alone, for them to have to play a home game in Arizona, dealing with all the stuff that they probably have to deal with outside of football, I just want to give it up to them because nobody even really had them probably making it this far in the playoffs, let alone making the playoffs. So big shout out to the Ram organization. But this game was Philly's game from the beginning. Jalen Hurts out the gate. 40-yard run for a touchdown. SAQUON got it going, and they look really good. Both quarterback and running back 40-yard touchdowns was amazing. And it was their game to lose, but it was almost their game to lose. You know, the Rams never had any quit. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, Mike, when they're making this last run, I'm talking about the Rams, because at 4 minutes and a little bit over 4 minutes, we're like, oh, this game is over. Then 1 minute, the Rams score, and then they get the shit back. And they're down 6. And I'm like, yo, hold the fuck on. This shit ain't over. And Matthew Stafford is marching the ball up the field. I see my nigga Sean McVay, his little hype ass on the sideline. I'm like, oh, shit. This shit might not be over. And then I'm thinking to myself, Philly kicker missed 2 extra points. Will this come back to haunt them? Because if the Rams get a touchdown and they only need the extra point, and you got 2 missed extra points, he might have got his ass kicked. He might have got his ass kicked behind them 2 extra points being missed. It didn't happen. I'm really excited about seeing next week's game. We'll get to the Washington game soon. But shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. But I thought the Rams, considering all things going on around them, not just all things going on around them, like Mike said, the weather alone, they didn't give up. They came to fight, and it was a nail biter down to the end, man. But I do agree with you, Mike, that I think some type of way that they need to get these weather conditions, especially for the Super Bowl, if nothing else. But the playoffs as well. And I know Buffalo's building a new stadium. I don't even know if it's going to be a dome. I know Chicago did a new stadium. It's not these cities that have this tumultuous weather should really have domes, because it isn't like you can't open the dome if need be. See, the thing about it, Mike,
right?
And I know you haven't been playing there. You played in great conditions, and now the nigga that you was fucking with, the owner, he get Jerry's World, drop top ceilings, standing room only. It's just, they got the best shit down there. So you throwing it on. I don't know what the fuck y'all gonna do, man. We niggas need the right weather, but I totally 100% agree with you. Absolutely, especially playoff time.
Right. Okay. Home games, you can do it how you want. You can leave it open and close it if you want.
Right.
You know, now you can, as a organization, can build the kind of team you want to build. You may be in Chicago, but want to go get a Caleb Williams to throw the ball all around. Right. So you can decide when you open and close it, or if you want to use the weather. But when it comes to playoff football, let the talent on the field decide. Had that weather been better, yeah, I think it could have been a different game because of Matthew Stafford. And so it's a great game, and I'm happy to see this game as it is. All the way it played out helps me in great ways, you see, because I always got my own motives and my own plans, and I need the NFL to work in my plans too.
Wait, I want to say something because when I'm hearing you guys speak, I think the weather plays into the football, the games, and people having home court advantage. I mean, home field advantage. Being able to play in the snow when you're from a cold city is your advantage. That's what you're winning the game so you could play in. Because a team like Miami can't play there. Certain teams just don't do well in that weather. So while you guys feel that way, there's other people that feel like, no, the snow separate the boys from the men. There's some people that actually believe that. And I'm one of them.
I thought the ring is what separate the boys from the men. And it shouldn't be the weather. It should be I was cold and I'm from Florida and he's from Tallahassee. He's from Alaska, so he was less cold, and that's why he beat me in football. I understand the advantage, all the advantage you can get in our contest for winning home field advantage. But I'm winning home field advantage, and I want the play on the field to determine if I'm the best team. Now, I'm going to bring it in front of my home crowd, but I'm going to let's get this in some conditions so we can decide who's the best team. That's who should win the Super Bowl, not who's the best weatherman that can withstand the damn weather. It's who can withstand the game. That's what I'm saying.
No, I fully understand y'all point. I'm just telling you that there's real people out there because I spend a lot of time in Milwaukee and different places like that really love the cold, and they actually look forward to having their shirt off. Yeah. When it's freezing cold, that's part of the culture there. So the same thing that happened out there in Buffalo, if you take that away, then Miami has an advantage. All the white
folks, you're right. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, Miami has an advantage because of the heat. Buffalo has an advantage because of the cold. Green Bay has an advantage. Denver have an advantage because of the air. Everybody has an advantage, and that's why you're playing for the home. You want that advantage when it comes to football.
But the heat is different. The heat is really an advantage.
I agree with Mase. I don't agree with it, but I feel Mase's point. I think that you play to have that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But I agree with Mike. Let my skills, because you know how to run in the snow better than me. Do that mean that you're better than me? But I understand where he's coming from because we worked hard to get home field advantage. Let them niggas come up here to Buffalo and freeze their ass off so we can win.
Yeah.
But does that mean you really better than me? I don't know.
Right.
No, those are good points because just like you guys spend a lot of time in Texas, right? So the air and the heat in Texas is totally different than a lot of other places, and that's your advantage. So if you want that advantage, you make sure you have home field.
Yeah. All good points. And then just a quick follow-up question, Mike. So we saw in the second half, Jalen Hurts actually had a slight little injury to his knee that was then downplayed for the next game that they have. Does that cause any concern for you, or do you think he'll be fine? Because, of course, he's saying he's okay, but what do you think?
Oh, absolutely it causes concern.
Yeah.
If he's gimpy in any way, he's going to have to run, he's going to have to throw, he's going to have to do everything at a very high level to win this next game. And we're going to talk about that. And the match, and the outmatch and outplay that young guy that he's playing against, because that young guy he's playing against is shouting out, I am the damn man in this thing now. That's what he's saying. And Lamar Jackson, the Jalen Hurts, all of them. Yeah, they got to watch him because he's looking for Patrick Mahomes. He look like P Home Squared or 2, whatever y'all call it, Model 2 or whatever.
Yeah, he better be. Pause. Yeah, he better be 100% because I'm ready to say if he wins, and I'm already going with
No, we're
Washington.
gonna talk about that, Mase. There's a lot in that, Mase.
Okay.
There's a lot in that because I'm seeing a lot with that dude. Boy, I'm seeing a mixture. I'm seeing a mixture of Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. And I don't know if Patrick can be a mixture, that kind of mixture. We'll talk about all of that.
Wait now, Mike, don't get carried away,
Yeah,
now, Mike. Boy, doing good, Mike, but don't throw rocks at the heavens, Mike.
Well, let's actually talk about that young guy that he's going to play. So the Commanders went on to beat the Lions 45-31 in Detroit. Rookie Jayden Daniels became just the sixth rookie quarterback in NFL history to start in a conference championship game. And he's tied Ben Roethlisberger for the most wins by a rookie QB in a season. Mike, what did you think of that phenomenal game and then that stat that I just read?
I honestly, I think he's just been incredible. And you can't say enough about his whole development in watching the process in his progress. I mean, it's really been. I mean, it's been like a playbook for any young quarterback learning the game. Of course, they won't have some of his gifts, physical skill set, and mannerisms, the way he played in the game, but just the way he went about it, the way they brought the game to him, the way they made him work for it, how hard he works to study the game. They threw a lot of things at him in this game. You know, Detroit. A lot of different blitzes. He picked them all up and he made them pay. And I've been so impressed with everything. And because you watch it, you say, okay, I see him do things in preseason. I want to see if he does these things in the regular season. Because all those preseason chumps, they'll be going back to their regular jobs over at Walmart and everything. So now you're going to be playing against the real NFL guys. And then he did it at that level. Now you say, let's take the best out of that best. And he has been dominating the best out of that best at the playoff level. I can't say enough about him. I'm watching him now, and I see he has that ultimate, that ultra dynamicness, the dynamic thing that Lamar Jackson has, but he has the brain thing of Patrick Mahomes, and that's why I say it reminds me of the combination. Sometimes you think you got him tackled, then he just slips. But he can go all the way to the house. Patrick Mahomes does that, but you don't expect him to really break it all the way to the house like this kid can do. It's been phenomenal watching him. It's been phenomenal. The one thing I say he showed me again today. I told you guys about him already showing me how well he plays late, right? And I thought about this as I was watching the game today, because Detroit usually comes back and make it a tight game. And I said, okay, let's see. He has a lead. Let's see if he can hold the lead. Let's see if Detroit comes back and he can win in the end. But he showed me another thing. He has that now, what I call that Tiger thing, that Tiger Woods thing, that Killa mentality. Don't let him get on top of you because Detroit kept trying, but he never relented. So you learn how to play late great, and then you learn how to put a killer mentality on the team like he did Detroit today and put them away. That's a lot in a rookie season, man. And you can only imagine where this kid is going to go after this season.
Yeah, this game proved a lot. It proved a lot about what we was talking about all year. We was making a statement. I mean, not me, but everybody on this panel was making a statement that if Daniels get this done, that he moves into elite company, and that's exactly what he did. He becomes like the sixth rookie to take his team, to what was that, the championship? Or the 16 to go to the sixth rookie to go to the championship. And it's also great that in 33 years, it's been 33 years since the Washington team, not the Redskins, but 33 years since a Washington football team has made it back here. So that's phenomenal news. I was really excited even to see Magic Johnson in the tunnel, dapping everybody up. They were celebrating.
Yeah.
It's really high times in Washington. And I'm ready to say that Washington is going to the championship. They're definitely going to the championship. They're going to beat Philly. I know people probably can't see it, but I could see it early. They're going to the championship, and they're going to lose to the Chiefs. I even thought about, and I don't want to get ahead in the show, but I could see if there was any team that could beat the Chiefs, is going to be the Bills. Washington wouldn't beat them, but I saw that today, and I like to be non-biased. But I really just thought with the 5 fumbles from them, it was just no way they was going to beat Washington. When you got 5 turnovers the way they did, you're just not going to win. And I meant to say 5 turnovers, not fumbles. You just can't win with those type of turnovers, because as we get later in the season, we saw that with all of the games that were played yesterday, that it was the turnovers that made the difference. In every game, it was the turnovers that made the difference. It boils down to whose offense is better than whose defense, and that's just really what it boils down to.
Yeah, since I'm the only one who picked Washington up here before the break, told y'all niggas, so Jaden Daniels has a good game, that the Commanders was gonna win. Thought I was bugging because everybody was Detroit out. I was Detroit out all year too. I ain't gonna lie, I was really sad for Detroit, man.
Yeah.
I was Detroit out, but I told niggas, I said, if this nigga, and I'm glad that we have the Is What It Is page. If you're not on our Instagram, make sure you go to Is What It Is _talk, because y'all was showing me love in the comments like Cam called it, because I knew it. Jared Goff, as much as I like Jared Goff, and I think he's a great quarterback, it's just something that's not going to happen. It's similar to Buffalo, to Baltimore. When it comes to, and we'll see what happens this year, it's still a game to get played. When it comes to facing Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen can't get it done. Lamar Jackson can't get it done. And like I said, Josh Allen has his chance of redemption next week. Joe Burrow gets it done when it's time. That's why they don't want to let Joe Burrow win the playoffs, even though he had an MVP season. This is the one nigga that gets it done against Patrick Mahomes and goes to the Super Bowl. Some people just can't get over the hump, and it seems like that for Jared Goff. I seen Dan Campbell crying after the game. I seen Jared Goff crying after the game. A lot of turnovers, man. A lot of turnovers. And to Mike's point, this kid, Jayden Daniels, he has a different type of cool about him. And when I say that, I mean, you know, a player that young with not a lot of experience would be ecstatic, jumping up and down, kicking, screaming, yelling. His posture is like, okay, we did this, now let's move on. And he's happy, but it ain't overly too happy. You know, niggas like, you can see the joy on Saquon Barkley's face, and I know he's been through more emotionally probably through his NFL career, especially dealing with the Giants, especially them niggas paying Daniels, not paying him, having to come to the same division and bust the Giants' ass, not just bust the Giants' ass, get to the conference championship. So, you know, you see the joy, but I'm just using him as an example because I'm thinking about post-game interviews. And that kid, Jayden Daniels, is fucking cool as a fan, man. Really cool. 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 51 yards on the floor. You know, it's funny, Mike, when I see him running, I mean, we seen him week after week extend plays, get first downs, etc. And I seen today when Jalen Hurts took off for that 40 yards, I said, oh, he watching Jayden Daniels. He letting niggas know I can use my legs pause too if I got to use my legs, nigga. And he's kind of setting the tone for what's going on throughout this playoffs because I know we're going to get to Kansas City in a minute, but I don't think anybody's playing better than him at the quarterback position right now, and especially with the teams left. Of course, Josh Allen, we're going to talk about that as well, but him playing is, I'm very, very, very impressed. I'm very, very impressed. And I know I bring it up a lot the last couple of weeks. But if this nigga Magic Johnson win the motherfucking Super Bowl, what the fuck can we say about Magic Johnson? God damn. That motherfucker know how to win, man. That motherfucker, I mean, look, I don't want to jump the gun for Magic, but god damn, as a player, as as an executive, as a liberty for the female, I mean, as a Dodgers championship, god damn, that's a fucking winner right there. But we got plenty more football to play. But shout out to the Commanders. I'll be looking forward to this game. This is going to be a really great game. It's the battle of I-95. You got Philadelphia against DC. Everybody's coming from DC up to Philadelphia. Please, no violence, y'all. I know it gets personal around there, but this will be an outstanding game. This is really, really outstanding game. And I'm looking forward to it, man. Battle of I-95. Third time these teams are playing. They split the division games this year, 1-1, and we'll see what happens. Trip to go to Super Bowl.
And then just
Let me say this right. Let me just, because as you were talking about how Jane looks on the sideline, I was thinking about Troy. Like when Troy first came in, man, Troy was so mature. I was like, damn. This dude like a grown old man already. You know what I mean? He was just so mature. He handled everything so right. I was, none of us was that.
Right.
We were about the money. We were at the streets. We gonna do all that. Troy wasn't doing nothing. He was so straight. And then a couple years later, when we found out that some girls had broken his house and was laying in his pool naked waiting on him, and he went and called the police. He called the police. I said, yeah, okay, you see, nobody else would have called the police. Nobody else in that locker room would have called the police. Troy was the only one that called the police. And we killed them for years for that. You call the police, but you know what I mean? Who does that? That kind of maturity is what I see in Jade. It's maturity way past anything anybody his age should have. You know, I believe he may call the police. You know, nobody else on that team.
He definitely has that. And I'm at a point in my life where I call the police. I'm just being honest with you. If I need to get all protection on the female, I've done it before.
Now, we talking about now, though. I'm talking about 21.
Back then, Bitch better not. Better be out of motherfucking mind in my house. What I want to bring out, bitch better not be. You know, me and you on the same type of time, Mike. I know what you want to say. I know what you want to say. But that's the responsible to do. If you're in a domestic violence situation, call the police. That is the absolute correct and responsible thing to do. But I want to bring one more stat up before we move on, Mike, is that the Cowboys are the only team that hasn't been to a conference championship this century. And you know the last time that the Cowboys been to a conference championship?
Oh, yeah.
Where was it?
Oh, yeah. When I played it. Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. When you played like 1995.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Dude, this plays into the plan, I'm telling you. now Washington.
What are you drawing? What the fuck is Mike? What are you drawing? You drawing the X and O's?
A play.
Right. I'm drawing the year down. You know, wise men, we like doodle because it works with my brain.
Okay, I got you.
Cowboys, Washington was at 33 years. Uh-huh. So that was standing right there. The Cowboys had you good. Jerry was good. Now you got two NFC East teams in there with two young quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts and the young Jayden Daniels. And the Cowboys, and we're gonna talk about Caitlin Clark and Taylor Swift at the Kansas City Chiefs game. They trying to make that. Those are two good old American girls. They trying to make those Chiefs they trying to steal America's title. I got two East teams in the title game. This kind of pressure gets me Dion. So keep bringing it up. You see what I'm saying? It's all part of the plan. Take that thing on up.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy is that you knew that stat, and because Washington was 1991. And now you can't say that about them. Right. Now y'all are the last team in 30 years that hasn't been to NFC conference finals in the whole NFC. Since you played, and now you're jotting shit down, thinking that you're going to get it over to the Jones family for more ammo to get Dion to come coach the Cowboys. That's what you said?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. Your Honor, do I need to say that again? I will say that again. Hey, wait. When did we finally give the brother an opportunity at running the country? When it was in its hell holiest, when it was in its lowest, when it was at its worst. We said, Barack, your turn is up. That's what we're trying to do here. That's what it looks like it's going to. I'm just saying.
I'll tell you one thing. I spoke to Coach Palm the other day. I hope he ain't lie to me like that. Told me you love Colorado. I say, Coach, you told me you love Colorado, but I heard you say you love Mississippi Jackson too. I ain't buying it. Let me know what's going on when it's time to go on. I'm telling you that right now.
Hey, right. You like me. Hey, nigga, don't let me be the last one. Don't let me find out.
That's a fact, yeah. That's a fact. I definitely called on. I said, look, if we going to Dallas, just tell me we going to Dallas so I know.
Right.
Damn, I'm sitting out here looking at these damn mountains right now. I don't want to hear that shit, Coach. Told me that about Jackson, Mississippi, man. I don't want to hear it. I know that nigga know how to play his cards, though. I will say that.
Yeah. Mike, I'm not even mad at what you had to say because, hey, I'll trust the process because if you can get it done, hey, do what you gotta do. But
everything working towards that.
Yeah.
Common goal.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then to kind of attest to how good Jayden Daniels has been playing, so this is another stat. So out of the rookie QBs to start a title game, this is the ranking of their team's scoring defense. So Brock Purdy, his team's was first. Mark Sanchez, his was third. Joe Flacco, his was third. Ben Roethlisberger, his was first. Sean King, his was third. And Jayden Daniels' team was ranked 18th. So he's been doing a lot for the team.
Right.
Obviously, shout out to the Commanders because you guys have a lot to be excited about. But before we move on from this game.
And real quick before we move on, Stat.
That was good, though, Stat. No, that was good, Stat. Because that's exactly what I just said in numbers form. Right. That's very good. That's how you get that nickname, Stat, baby. You came up with that Stat right on point. That's good job, bro. No, for real. For real. Because that's what I'm saying. The killer part comes in. Hey, I'll do this because I don't have a defense that can stop you. I'm going to kill you. You see what I'm saying? From this side, dude, that one ball he threw to Devontae Brown over the corner, right? Did you see the play? The ball dropped in. You know how we say all the time, nigga, I can throw it, but I can't throw it and catch it. The dude hand was right here. And the receiver hand the ball went right past, it just fell in. I don't even think the receiver saw the ball. So that's basically like him throwing it and catching it. It is incredible, and that's the stat to prove he's the killer. Even if he doesn't have the defense, he's going to kill your defense.
Yep, and the point I was going to make, Stat, I know we have to get ready to move on, but my homegirl Karen's in the studio. She just sent me some information. Now, Mike, listen, the reason why, I don't know if this is the reason, because I'm not counting the ownership of the Bills' pockets, but it was going to cost an extra $300 million to make it a dome with the new stadium that they're building in Buffalo. Thank you, Karen, for that information. So what they're doing is they putting some 360-degree canopy in the stadium that covers over 60% of the fans. I don't know what a canopy is going to do, but to put a dome, it would have cost an extra $300 million. And I guess ownership is like, we in a box anyway. We not playing. I'm not spending another $300 million. So thank you for that information.
And that's the limit. And see, that's why I get on other owners. That's why I get back people up off Jerry Jones, because Jerry will go and make some money and know how to make money and make sure he spends some money. This right here, that's great. $300 million is nothing. These dudes, you got $130 billion. And the only way you're going to get anybody in Buffalo to see any kind of big game outside of your own playoff games is to put a dome on it. They had a Super Bowl in New York. They had a Super Bowl in Minnesota. Ain't no place in the world colder than Minnesota. We had it in Minnesota after they got a dome put on the stadium. I mean, it was the coldest thing I've ever. I'm just saying, I don't want to go to Buffalo anyway. So don't put a dome on there. We'll never come for a Super Bowl, but I was just trying to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then real quick before we go to break, just got to ask, because Jello is having a good little year. He performed at the halftime show. What did you guys think of his performance, Mike?
I thought well, outside of watching it and then listening, reading some of the comments, people saying that man didn't even know his own words, all that kind of stuff. They were messing with the man. I thought it was cool that he was there in that moment. You know what I'm saying? In that moment. and everything. I was happy for him being in that moment.
But I'm really excited that he's able to get a record going. I hope he get more records going, make a lot of money. But as a rapper to a rapper, you got to know the lyrics, champ.
Damn.
Yeah.
How do y'all remember all them damn lyrics anyway, dude? Like, how do y'all remember all that stuff?
You got to practice. It's a lot of times if I got a show, I got to listen to songs before the show because I don't remember all my lyrics because I've been doing it almost 30 years. So when I do a show, when you're in a road, like when you're on tour, it's easy because you're doing it like almost every night when you're on tour and we have consistent shows. But when
like
you got
the same plays over and over. You play
right.
the same
When
plays.
but when you have gaps in between shows, you got to go listen and practice. It looked like to me, first of all, people were telling, they always, I like to play around. So I don't know if you see my Instagram, Mike, but I DM'd the Lions and left them a voice note and told them the reason that they lost was having Jello there because you could have had Eminem there, you could have had Big Sean there, you could have had a lot of Detroit rappers there. Even, to be honest with you, Jello looked like, how the fuck did I get here? I don't even believe I'm here. But to Jello's credit, I think he has a good song. People are so sensitive. I think he has a good song. And I think that I think he's a better rapper than basketball player. Was it fit for yesterday's game? Absolutely not. This was probably one of the most important sports days in Lions history in recent years. I think they should have somebody from Detroit performing, my personal opinion. No slight towards Jello or anything, but imagine Eminem came out. You know who brought Eminem out? Terrence Crawford beat the shit out Errol Spence. Sometimes the music helps out and it gives you momentum. So, but like I said,
but let me ask you this, Kim. I've been on this and I've been seeing this, and I hate to digress for a moment, but this is the perfect time to ask your thoughts on the Snoop and Nelly stuff that were performing for Trump, and I saw that video that Snoop said, if anybody perform, I'm gonna call you out, all of those things, and then of course,
what did he say, Mike? Say what he said. What did he say?
He was gonna call out. He said he was gonna call out whoever performed for Trump. We're gonna call them out being Uncle Tom, nigga that they are, all of that. So
no, because I'm not abreast to the situation.
What are y'all thoughts on that?
I'm not abreast to the situation. What you're saying is Snoop said if somebody goes perform for Trump, that they a sucker, basically.
Yes.
That's what he said?
Right, yeah.
Pause, he went hard in the paint.
What is my thoughts on it? I mean, Snoop can feel how he want to feel. I can't get mad at Snoop.
Right.
Opinion, I think that people, I don't really get too much into politics. I've never voted in my life, but I think that people have their reasons for dealing with political figures for whatever they have their reasons for dealing with political figures for. You got a rapper named Kodak Black down there in Florida, where you from, Mike? He said that's Uncle Trump. He pardoned him.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
He said, so everybody sometimes has a different agenda on why they deal with people politically. However Snoop feels, that's how Snoop feels. But I'm pretty sure it's other people on the other side of the coin to be like, you can't get me to. I wish Trump would beg me to come perform for them. Me personally, I have no opinion.
But I'm asking you to Cam, because Nelly did say that. Nelly said something too, because I watched him. Nelly's my boy, from The Longest Yard. We did the movie together. Nelly I saw him defending himself about it, saying, "Listen, this is I was performing for the president of the United States. That no president ever asked me to perform. It was just an honor to have him ask, and stuff like that." Dude said, "Well, why don't you perform? Would you perform for the Ku Klux Klan?" He said, "Well, it ain't the Ku Klux Klan country," that kind of stuff. So, but I'm saying though, there's something here now. There's your gift that you make your business off of, that people pay you to go and do those shows and everything, and then the politics of it. And a lot of times people can't separate the politics from the gift. That's why I don't personally talk politics, because I want everybody, you can engage in football, but people love your song, but since you're doing it at Trump's events, I ain't never going to listen again. So I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on things like that.
Yeah, I don't talk politics neither.
Yeah, me. I do sometime, but in a situation like this, I think when it comes to Snoop saying what he said, I did see what he said. It did kind of, look different for him to be up there performing after what he said. But who knows? In one situation, they could be partnering somebody that really matters to him, and because they're partnering somebody he's that really matters to him, then he's doing the show. Or they could have gave him a million reasons why he should do the show. Who knows? I don't know that, but I do understand that people do have the right to change their mind. This is one of the things that I think people put low equity in, and it's that people have the right to change their mind. You could think one way one day and then wake up another day and say, you know what, I see that situation differently. But I do think as a public figure, you do have to publicly express that when you stood so strongly on another situation. I'm definitely an advocate of that. I had to do that in my own life. There's certain things I said, and then I found myself doing things that I said I wouldn't do, and then I had to really address those things because that does matter as a public figure for people to trust what you're saying. But if you want to be looked at as a person that you pretty much would do anything or say anything, then that's how people will look at you. And I'm not saying that like I'm perfect in that area. I'm just giving, commentary to the other side of that conversation. Because when you've stood so brazenly on one thing, it does make people look at you and say, what's up with this? And I think we should hold people accountable, especially if we're going to listen to them. But if we just see them as entertainers, then I don't think we should put any equity in it because we're only there for the music anyway.
Yeah. But I will say, in addition to music, like people do uphold a lot of the things that you guys say and like what you guys stand for and stuff like that. That's why even like when Mike Tyson was up here and he was asking me who I'm, like I just stay out of those conversations because the thing about social media, people are quick to pull out a little clip. Then that's what happens to Snoop Dogg and bring it right back to your reality. And I don't got time for that.
Yeah.
So you just got to be careful in situations like that and figure it out.
And I'm in 100% agreement with Stat. And that's why I think when it comes to this, that people have the right to change their mind. I want that to be stated. So whether it's Snoop, whether it's Nelly, whether it's me, whether it's anybody, people can pull up those clips, and that's why you have to articulate those changes when they do happen, because people do value what we have to say and do value our opinion. And when that opinion change, I think we do ourselves a disservice when we don't address it.
Right.
Hey man, listen. All that seriousness too. I'm so glad I did bring it up. I mean, I thought that was a beautiful job that you did in speaking about it and being honest and even enlightening us on the depths of it. Because I swear to you, on my mother and father's grave right now, I got a text right in this phone within the last 6 days of a very good friend of mine who's trying to get me to get to somebody to get to Trump to help him get pardoned on something.
Exactly.
So, in our world, those things, I swear to you, it absolutely happened. I have it right now. And I hadn't returned his text, to be honest with you. but that definitely is something that you open the minds up about.
Yeah, now you think about it because if that's just life, there's people that at one point I did like, pause, and then through situations I recognize I don't need to like this person. And the same could happen in the opposite direction. There could be a president, a mayor, a governor, or anybody that you did not like, and then you have a conversation or two, and then you recognize there is some value in this person.
Right. Okay. We're going to go to break. When we return, we will talk about the Chiefs versus the Texans. Don't go anywhere.
One eye, one heart, one love.
Excuse me? After last night's performance, we're going to do this again? Not tonight. I don't think so. And make sure you close the door behind you.
When I take the pussy up, man. When I take the pussy up, man. When I take the pussy up, man. When I take the pussy up, man.
I'm Rico fucking strong.
Took that horsepower.
Yeah.
Giddy up.
Baby!
Fast money. Manny. Fresh shit. Cash money. Moscow mule.
I'm back.
Looking back at her, I'm a crash.
Hell no. Muchacho, levántate. Toma eso, bébetelo.
Right now?
Well, cuña.
Okay.
Well,
Now, right now. Right now.
yeah.
Girl, let me see you walk it off. Oh, let me see you walk it off. Yeah, let me see you walk it off. Go, girl, let me see you walk it off.
Welcome back. Now let's get into our underdog picks of the day. So on Sunday, the Commanders will play the Eagles. Underdog has Jalen Hurts at 184.5 passing yards. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
Higher.
Okay, Cam.
Say that one more time, sorry.
Commanders versus Eagles. Jalen Hurts is at 184.5 passing yards.
I don't know. He didn't have a lot of passing yards last game. Saquon Barkley's doing the bulk load of the yardage that they're picking up, but I think Washington will be prepared for that. Not saying Saquon won't have a good game. I'm going to go higher.
Okay, Saquon Barkley's at 123.5 rushing yards. Do you have him higher or lower, Cam?
How many?
123.5 rushing yards.
Low.
Yeah, lower.
Okay, and Jaden Daniels is at 54.5 rushing yards. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
Oh, man. I think I'm going to go lower.
Okay, Cam.
High.
Okay, if you guys like these picks, remember you always get a free pick if you're not already on Underdog, so make sure to support the show. Sign up now, and you can make your picks too. Time to talk about Titletown. The Chiefs, they beat the Texans 23-14 to move on to their 7th straight AFC title game. Mike, at any point, did you think the Texans had a chance? And how do you feel about the Chiefs right now?
I did. Well, first of all, the Texans absolutely had a chance, and I thought Mase would come in today saying, "Oh my God," defending all of the stuff with the referee. we have to address this. Now, I still believe in the end, the Kansas City would have won that game. And I saw a lot of mistakes that the Texans started making towards the end of the game. But the Texans absolutely had a chance. And they were in that game. But some of those calls, and some of them were bad, that really helped the Chiefs. So I was like, I was happy for the Chiefs, but they are as wounded as they've ever been. I'm telling you, they are as wounded as they've ever been. They luckily got away from a team that was not. If that team would have been fully equipped with all of their players, that could have been a different game. But that's what makes Patrick Mahomes. That's what makes them great. They're going to do what they need to do to win the game, even when they're not at their best. And that's what they did the other day.
So, yeah, Michael Irvin, you know Mike Tyson, you know Michael Jordan, you know people who win with the name Michael. His name is not Michael, but you could add him to that list. When you're winning the way that the Chiefs have won, Houston was just there as a photo op. We know this. They wasn't there to win. We saw that in the game. Even with all of the things the ref did, if they did not call those things, they were still going to lose. It wasn't like they came to actually take the game. You know when somebody comes to dethrone another team, like what we saw with Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders, they came to win the game. When you look at Buffalo Bills, they came to win that game. So it's like they just didn't have that type of energy, and I think a lot of times this was the first game I really saw it. Like, the refs is really bugging out. That's why I said what I said about the Bills. I think the only team that could beat the Chiefs is the Bills. If the Bills win next game, I wouldn't be surprised. But other than that, we're going to the chip. And it just is what it is, Mike. They were there for a photo op. I hope they got a lot of pictures. We'll see them next year. They didn't have Diggs with them. They wasn't supposed to win that.
Cam. Mood. That's that. Shout out Taylor Swift and Caitlin Clark and the refs. But hey. Okay, last game before we wrap. So the Bills came on top, beating the Ravens 27-25, which came down to the final seconds. Obviously, this is a very good game. Mike, what went wrong for the Ravens?
Well, it's funny because what the guys were talking about. Cam talked about Jared Goff. Mase talked about the Texans. And all of these games, they come down to the guy that makes the most mistakes. And I've always said that, I love Lamar. I love Lamar. But Lamar has all the physical skill sets to do everything, but he seems to always have just that little thing go wrong. Earlier, likely feet was on the line. You didn't, and today you're turning the ball over. Jared Goff in that game, there was one time when he threw an interception. He tried to get the guy over the top of the ball. The guy in front of him was wide open. He didn't throw the ball. He didn't just take that. He tried to make something. He has limited talent. Stay with what you do. Just throw the ball and march the ball down the field, but he tried to make big plays, and those things went wrong. I saw Lamar do the same thing. I saw the Baltimore Ravens doing some of that. Sometimes just hand the ball off to Derek and let him run, and they have Lamar trying to do things, and it just, you open yourself up for making bad plays like he did on the fumble, on the interception. It was just bad plays. Josh Allen, when he tried to boot and get that touchdown, they stopped him. He almost reverted back to his dummies. He almost
tried to flick it out.
Ball, but he stopped himself. He stopped himself from making a dumb decision, and that's why they end up winning the game. They made fewer bad decisions. Yes, they made a lot of plays, but they made fewer bad decisions is the way I would categorize that win.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to lead off with. Sometime the commentator even said it, sometime you win with the plays you don't make, and that was real. That was a real profound statement, because actually if he would have tried to pass the ball unilaterally, it would have turned into a fumble, could have turned into an interception. And that's exactly what we saw with Lamar. It's like, because he can make all of these heroic plays, he always go for the home run. And this was something that used to plague even the coach of Detroit when he would go for the extra two. Sometime again, you win with the things you don't do. And I would say with everything that happened in that game, they still had a chance to win it. It came down to the pass at the 2-yard line. And Andrews is a great player, but he should have caught that. Is no way around that. I don't want to hear about the snow. The football was wet. Bro, the ball was paused in your hand. It was in his lap, and he still dropped it. I saw the frustration in Lamar's face, because he's like, I did my job. My job is to pass the ball to the guy when he's open and not throw it away. So everything that happened before those 3 minutes, those last 3 minutes, they could have still won that game. The ball was in his hand. All he had to do was catch it and pause backwards, and then we was in overtime. And he didn't do it. And it's sad when that comes from a player that has been so consistent in contributing to that team, because you can't really argue with him, because if it wasn't for him, y'all wouldn't be there. So it was just a rough day for him.
Yo, Mike.
Yeah.
I was going to come in today like this, right? I was going to come in like this. Now I'm like this. I was like this, because I know you for the new Black Panther, but I was coming in like this. But now I'm like this. You know why? Because Josh Allen fucked up the all-black semifinals. I was like, yeah, we got an all-black semifinals.
Dude.
Josh Allen could kill off 2 more black niggas and fuck up the whole shit. I was coming in like, yeah, we did it. Because I've been going for the Bills. The Bills got me on their page. They be showing me love. But I was like, yo, this could kind of be crazy, right? Because look, this how you offset it. The Buffalo would have won. They would have went to Kansas City. Now it's blackly black with Buffalo. Kansas City, you know, Pat is black. He got dark nigga mentality. But he's light-skinned with the drip, with the little, do hair commercials and shit. So I said, listen, I swear to God, I was going to call Warren from Rock Nation. What up, OG Warren? It's my nigga. And say, look, I don't know the vibes over there with me. You know, you my nigga. I know Warren, and that's my nigga. You go get Beyonce in that skybox for Baltimore. Taylor Swift against Beyonce in the skybox. Baltimore, this is the only thing that offset this shit. Yeah. This would offset this shit like a motherfucker. This is all in my brain as I'm watching this shit. Beyonce in the skybox for Baltimore, Taylor Swift in the skybox for Kansas City, black on white, light skin versus dark skin nigga shit. That's what I was thinking. Because look, you would have had 2 light skin niggas and 2 dark skin niggas, right? I would think that's what I'm thinking to myself. Like, yo, we gonna see who win this because you would have had Jayden Daniels against Jalen. Yeah, light skin against dark skin. Then you had Pat Mahomes against Lamar Jackson, light skin, dark skin. It could have been a dark skin nigga Super Bowl, a light skin nigga Super Bowl, or see who won it out of the dark skin and light niggas. But I was like, yo, this would be so dope. I promise you I was gonna call Warren from Rock Nation and be like, I don't know, I can't tell niggas wives and Jay-Z and everybody would do. But y'all wanna set this motherfucker off, nigga? Get Beyonce up there in that motherfucking Baltimore skybox to go against Taylor Swift. This shit will all, the NFL wouldn't know what the fuck to do. They wouldn't know who to show. It couldn't be all Taylor Swift show. That was going through my mind. And Josh Allen fucked up the whole shit.
Beyonce, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and Taylor Swift.
That would have been crazy, yo. That's what I'm saying. This was hardcore. I was like, yo, this was in my... That's where I was gonna put that call in. I said, yo, this was my dream for next week. This is what I had. That's why I said, I'm in the house like, we coming in like this on Monday morning. Josh Allen said, nah, we ain't with it. But yeah, man, too many mistakes early, not just the interception early from Lamar Jackson, also the fumble that he had, because of weather as well. But, he made up for his mistakes. Andrews not just not making a 2-point conversion when they needed a 2-point conversion. He caught a pass midfield, let them punch the ball out. Pardon me. Buffalo recovered that. And I think if you look at the end of the game, even in post-game, Lamar wasn't as mad. I see him more mad this season for niggas doing podcasts and not paying attention and not being focused. But I know that he knows deep in his heart a few of these things you could blame on him as well. So I don't think he was as mad as he could have been, because for Andrews to drop that 2-point conversion, I was mad. Me and nigga Bezo in the house going crazy, pissed the fuck off. But if you look at him, he's smiling. He's like, it wasn't meant to be today. He had to smile. You see his girls and all that, and it was like, yo, I could have done things better. Even though he led them back to almost tie the game up, is things he could have done different. I know we're running out of time because I sit here and watch this game all games from beginning to end. I could sit and go through this game for another 10 minutes. But congratulations to the Buffalo Bills. Y'all fucked my next week dream up, because I had this all planned out, and I was gonna call all the powers that could possibly be to make this happen. Beyonce against Taylor Swift, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Stat threw that in there. That would have been super duper dope. But one white man left against 3 black men. And we gonna see what happens, man. We'll see what happens.
And he might win it all, to be honest.
Cam, I appreciate you showing that love for my home team, Lamar, because, it's from Fort Lauderdale. I told you my nephew trained him.
Yep.
Now, I hope, and I don't think it is going to happen, but I hope it happens where the rest of history remembers it this way. And I thought that's why Lamar was not as torn as he could have been, because he sees this as, okay, clearly I did my piece here. That's a great old pro. He dropped it. That's on him. But no, it's only going to be, ultimately, we won't remember the details, is you couldn't get the job done. And here's the other issue I think Lamar has. There's another dude in the Maryland area that's getting it done.
Jayden.
See, there can only be one Superman, and certainly one superhero in the area. That's all I'm saying. So he has to, maybe he doesn't feel the pain later on, or he sees this, he'll go home and do the mic with it right and cry real and feel that pain. But yeah, that Joker took something from him today when he dropped that ball.
Yeah. Great chats, great games. We will continue talking about more games in a couple days and, of course, next Sunday. But that's all the time that we have for today. Mike, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Always great to be here, guys. Always great talk.
Okay. Thank y'all all for watching. And as always, it is what it is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.